Hello everyone, today I am here to teach you all how to use the bone tool. For those who do not know, the bone tool allows you to take anything you've drawn, whether it be a line, a character, a tree, a lamp, or just about anything, and apply a skeletal figure, or also known as rigging. As you can see here, I made this character for a school project, and she is boned in 8 different directions. Oh. As you can see here, I have applied the skeleton to her entire body, and also some of the outer features, such as the back of her sweatshirt, the little hoodie part, and her helmet, so that if I decide to move her, such as this, move her head, her helmet moves along with it. Alright, so to start out with, I have my character here. As you can see, there's no bone structure at all. Every single separate part has its own symbol. You want to make sure that everything is in a symbol, and there is like the graphic-y stuff, the line, the actual materials in that symbol. Because you cannot use the bone tool with just the lines themselves, the graphic-y parts, because it will not let you. Another thing you want to make sure when you start using the bone tool is that your action script is set to 3.0. Because if you try to use the bone tool when you're in 2.0, this message will pop up. Use the tool. First you want to either select in your menu, the side menu right here, or just press the N button like I did before, because I couldn't find the button itself on the bar. And then what you will want to do is, when you have a human skeleton, you'll want to start at the very center of the torso, because that's where everything is moving around from. So you start out like this. You can start from anywhere, actually. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to just start out from the arm, because it's right there. You do that, you do that, you do that, and you don't do that, but hopefully this actually worked out. Nope. No, it didn't. Or did it? Yeah, no, it did. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that works for now. And then I'm going to start by going up the torso. I'm going to start by going down to the torso. Okay, so here's one issue you want to pay attention to. When you're doing the bone tool, sometimes the symbols will go out of order that you want it to. So what you have to do is just right click it, arrange. Oh, I don't think you can see it. No, you can't. Alright, so you want to go to right click, you'll just right click it, arrange, and there should be an option that says send to back. And that's how you get it to the right order that you please. And again, I don't remember exactly how I set it up. I know I have this crazy way set up, but just for this is probably not how it actually looked like in the main model. But for the sake of, the tutorial, I'm just gonna go, why are you not working? Alright, I ended up switching to a newer model or a more updated one, because apparently the other one did not have the materials they needed, but I don't feel like re-recording that. So you're just gonna have to deal with that. Anyways, as I was saying, for the legs, what I would do is I'd do this. I don't feel it. There's one piece in the front. As you can see here, there's one piece of the leg in the front, other in the back, one piece of the shorts, I should say, and there's the top. So the top's connected. You want to make a little V shape from this very point right here, so that these two legs will move around like so. Also, I don't remember if I mentioned this before, but if you're actually doing the model like seriously, like not a joke, like not just doing it just for fuck of it to get it done, like I am, you want to make sure that is it gonna work? You want to make sure that the model, the legs, the point of the leg is exactly where you want it. You don't want it like that. You would want to make sure that the point is like right there, so that they move freely. Alright, something else I should mention before, when you're doing back parts, you want to make sure that you see these layers here, how all this is above the armature itself, layer itself. You want to make sure it's above, definitely, so that it's a lot easier to add bones to them. Because otherwise, it's just gonna it's not gonna show up, or you're not gonna be able to do it, because the way the bone tool works is that it registers the thing that's highest up in the layer scale that you have your button over. Anyways, yeah, you do that, and not that. Yeah. Okay, so let's say these are the back parts. You take them, arrange, send to the back. Send all of them to the back. Like, seriously. Why? What the fuck? Alright, so what you want to do is make sure that the object you're trying to put bone, or put the bone on, is in front, and the point that you're trying to put the bone, connect the bone to, is in front too. So you'd have to move that, and then you'd have to get the fuck away. Yeah, just so you know, this is a very frustrating tool to use at points, so you should get used to that. You can do, though, is you can actually move them. It does, for some reason, move the bones themselves around if you do that, move around like that using the arrow keys, but for purposes of demonstration, I don't care. Please tell me it's all recording. Okay. There we go. And the point that you're trying to put the bone, connect the bone to, is in front too. So you'd have to move that, and then you'd have to you can do, though, is you can actually move them. It does, for some reason, move the bones themselves around if you do that, move around like that using the arrow keys, but for purposes of demonstration, I don't care. There we go. There we go, finally. Isn't it beautiful? Sort of. It's something, right? Range. Front. That was in between. So basically, this is kind of what it looks like. It'll obviously look a lot better if you put time and care into it. Like if this will be arranged to the front, etc., etc. After I did the legs, what I would like to do is I'm going to do the little details like that, and you'd send this to the back along with the other things I did not send to the back. Send to the back. Why is it not sending to the back? Well, it usually would send to the back, but for some reason it does not want to work with me. I don't know why that worked. Okay, like what it would look like. This is more or less what it would look like, sort of, from the bottom. And this is what it would look like from the top. Yay! pink. And for the head, what do I do? Is not actually say what I'm doing because I don't feel like it, but yeah. Alright, so basically what I did there was I started by making sure my bone dragged all the way this towards the face itself, this, and then that's where everything would split from. So you drag this to this, one point to here, so the hair moves its own entity. You'd have the eye moving its own entity. You'd have the whites of the eye and the helmet and everything. And then you'd send the eye to the back. The whites of the eye, I mean, because you don't want that there. Also, something you would do, I will show it in the other video. Alright, so as you can see here, the eyebrow itself has its own separate connection thingy. What you want to do with the eyebrows is you want to not do whatever I just did. You want to make sure that they're big enough so that they can cover the whole eye, even if it's just enough, but small enough or like thin enough so that it doesn't go over your face, because otherwise it's just going to look really weird. Like, yeah, it can go cover the eye, but now you got the eyebrow covering your face, or going past your out of the face. I guess one other thing to note is, for some of the sides, depending on which angle, you might want to make a separate little thing for your neck so that it moves better, I guess. Like, I guess if it didn't, I don't remember what would happen. But yeah, another thing I do is for the mouth, Alright, another thing I've done is for the mouth, I've made it its own separate layer. I don't actually connect it for whatever reason. But, the reason why I don't connect it is actually so if I wanted to swap a symbol, if I remember correctly, if it swaps the symbol with the bone tool, it'll just, it will just do wacky things. So you don't want to do that. You want to make it its own separate layer and then move it itself. And I also made a guide on my character itself so that I can move it into the exact place when I need to, like, sort of so. Not exactly, but you get the idea. One thing I wanted to mention is, as you can see here, the arm, this little X here. Okay. One thing I wanted to point out that you might have noticed are these X's. What they basically do is allow it so that if you move this around, hold on, I didn't want to do that. If you move this around, the thing will more or less stay in place. Basically how you do that is using the pin option, which is actually right here, see? It made one right over here. It's a little confusing about which one it pins sometimes, I'll admit, but an easy way to do it is just keep clicking, and then eventually you'll be able to pin it. Like, watch. Like, right. The last thing I wanted to bring up to you guys is this sidebar over here. Basically, it controls how each specific bone moves. Like, each one will have usually has a more or less different set of options. I really haven't fiddled with them too much, but I can tell you for sure that what each does. This says right here, location, the position, length, etc. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. The speed Here, it controls how fast or how slow it moves when you rotate it. Um, so, like, okay, for example, like that to, let's say, that. I mean, you can notice it's pretty subtle, but there's a definite difference. Kind of hard to describe. Um, Another one is if you want, you can constrain your movement. I think I do. Actually, no, I don't have it set to any of these. But basically, what it does is unless you like swing it, it should definitely keep your bone within a certain margin, like that. Like, see how unless I move it really fast, it doesn't move a lot. And there's ones for X, Y, and just in general. That's pretty much all I'd like to teach you guys today. Don't expect more tutorials because I'm only doing this because of a class project. But if you guys have any questions, I guess feel free to email me on my YouTube or PM me on my YouTube. You also have left like a little toy, not the same as this model because I'm not letting you guys use this because it's mine. But I did make a little mock-up of a model that you guys can play with if you guys so choose. So look for that in the bottom of the description.